All right, Molly, a couple other sports media issues to hit on this week. Bill Walton passed away. So many great anecdotes and stories out there from everyone in social media and on television. It just showed how beloved he was in the basketball and sports media community, but also outside of that. He had such varied interests. Obviously, a big Grateful Dead fan, but just a fan of all sports. And he loved the Pac 12. And he passed away one day after the final game in the Pac 12. It was just really great to see the outpouring of love and support for Bill Walton, what he was able to contribute to the sports community.
The tributes are just coming and coming, and they're not going to stop anytime soon. And may he rest in peace.
Yeah, later on in the show, we're also going to have Ramona Shelburne talking about her best interactions with Bill Walton. Molly, also last week, as you and I were walking into the Sports Business Awards, news broke that TNT was going to be sub-licensing some of the early round college football playoff games from ESPN over a 5-year deal. What is your takeaway from that?
I said to you as we were walking in, not now, TNT. It's a smart deal from them, especially as last week I did have Warner Bros. Discovery and TNT Sports as my down. So not saying I personally made this deal happen, but it could be a smart deal for them, especially with the NBA media rights so up in the air, getting marquee games. I mean, in the first couple years, they have 2 first-round games of the playoffs. And it's also important to remember this is the first year of the expanded 12-team playoffs. But starting in 2026, they get some quarterfinal games. So I think that's when it'll start to get really interesting for them.
Yeah, I mean, fans have to, are they going to tune? We have to find out. Are fans going to be tuning in for those first round games, which 3 of them are going up against NFL games this season? Are there going to be schedule changes? But TNT, obviously, this was done in parallel to their talks with the NBA. So they show that they have money, they're going to spend money, they want to be involved in big-time sports, and they also have a lot of experience doing these big-time college games. They've had the Final Four in the national championship game, and it's not just on TNT. They do that sort of mega-cast approach with True TV, with TBS. It's going to be on Bleacher Report. They're going to do a lot with all the platforms and Max that they have. It's going to be a very big production for those CFP games that they have.
They're definitely going to go all in with it. I mean, and like you said, they have the experience with March Madness for years at this point, so they know how to handle college sports.
Well, Molly, it's Wednesday. We don't have any updates on the NBA media rights front, so let's talk about some other big media rights deals that are out there. I want to talk about IndyCar. Indianapolis 500, they did see an uptick, 8% over 2023. That puts them kind of up a little bit for the season. Obviously, those rights are still out in the market. There's been reports, NBC remaining interested. Could another network like a Fox be interested out there? That's a big auto series that is looking for more money, but it might be one of these properties that maybe is not left without a chair, but is not going to see the uptick that a lot of these grade A properties have seen.
I would agree with that. And I actually wonder, and I don't know, but I'm wondering if any of the streaming services are going to want to throw their hat in the ring for it.
What's a media rights deal you have your eye on?
UFC, that's up next year for both digital and linear. ESPN has seen so much success with UFC and for across streaming. It's a huge driver of subs for ESPN Plus. It's a really young demo. It's a really, really engaged fan base. I think ESPN is going to be very, very interested in keeping it, especially with their direct-to-consumer service flagship launching early next year, the joint venture on its way. Disney's not going to want to give this up.
Like you said, very young demo. Those pay-per-views have been huge, and it's been big for linear TV. Those prelims that they've been airing on either ABC or ESPN, those have been setting record after record in 2023 and now at the early part of 2024. So UFC, another one I'm definitely keeping an eye on.
Have you ever gone to a UFC match?
I have. It is incredible to watch up close. It is a really fun event. I went to my first one last year. It was much better than I thought it was going to be honest.
I've gone twice, both times at Madison Square Garden, and if you know me, you would not think UFC would be something that would pique my interest. Oh my God, I couldn't look away. It's so engaging. And now anytime I see it on TV, I will turn it on. I'm like into the fighting now. Crazy.
Mollie Cahillane, SBJ's media reporter, thank you so much for joining the pod.
Thanks so much for having me, Austin.